Good morning, wrestling fans. Today is Sunday, February 11th, 2024. Lance Brock here on the Sunday morning episode of GMWF. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Sunday so far. It is the big game today. It is Puppy Bowl Sunday. And no, not talking about some silly little football game, or like Mama from The Waterboy would say, foosball. But on today's episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans, as always, all pro wrestling. And I just want to say, the way I'm going to do things today is right here on Good Morning Wrestling Fans. I'm going to talk about last night's episode of AEW Saturday Collision, and sometime today I will try to do an episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic on New Japan Pro Wrestling's new beginning in Osaka. Yes, I was able to get up early enough, around 3 a.m. Maybe just missed a few minutes of it, but luckily didn't miss any matches. And I was able to watch the card on NJPW World live. So, going to talk about Collision here on GMWF. And then later, hopefully, talk about New Beginning in Osaka. And let's get started. Get right into it. Like Mills Lane used to say, let's get it on and talk about AEW Saturday Collision from February 10th, 2024. And AEW Collision, sorry about that, kind of lost my train of thought there. They were in Las Vegas, Nevada, and our commentators for tonight, Tony Schiavone, Kevin Kelly, and Nigel McGuinness. And we start off with another trios match. The Blackpool Combat Club, Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli defeat CMLL stars, Star Jr. and El Sphinx. And a pretty good match so far. I know the reason why Bryan Danielson was not there, obviously, because he was at the New Japan show, but I'm not quite sure why exactly we have not seen Wheeler Yuta a little bit. I don't know if he's injured or if he's just maybe a little banged up right now and they're giving him a little bit of time off to heal. But hopefully we'll see Wheeler Yuta back with the other members of the Blackpool Combat Club soon. Daniel Garcia is in action, defeating Shane Taylor. And representing the Embassy, we have Brian Cage along with Prince Nana in his corner. And Sintuk had a handicap match last week. He has a handicap match this week. And he defeats the Outrunners, the same team that Hook defeated last week. They're kind of doing this thing. Anything you can do, I can do better. And I think a feud between Brian Cage and Hook could actually be pretty good. I think they could have a pretty good match. Next up on Collision, honoring the House of Black, Brody King along with Julia Hart. He takes on Mark Briscoe, and they have a pretty good match here. Brody King getting the win. The only House of Black members on Collision last night were Brody King and Julia Hart. Lately, there has been speculation of possibly Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews leaving to go back to the WWE. But as of right now, I would say that's only rumor and speculation as of right now, so don't know for sure if that will be happening or not. And women's action, the number one contender for the AEW World Women's Championship, Deonna Purrazzo defeats the Girl on Fire, Kiera Hogan. And the AEW Women's World Champion, Timeless Toni Storm, along with Luther and Mariah May, defeats Queen Aminata. I thought the commentators brought up the point where, yes, both of them did win their matches, but Toni Storm had more trouble with Queen Aminata than Deonna Purrazzo had with Kiera Hogan. So kind of building momentum up for Purrazzo heading into the Revolution pay-per-view and their AEW Women's World Championship match. I would say that I could see Deonna Purrazzo winning the title. But before I left just now, I was listening to Post Wrestling's podcast, Collision Course, and Kate from Montreal brought up a good point actually about this one thing that TNA has done a lot when they get a star from another company, like a former WWE superstar comes in and they automatically push them to the moon when they get there, put a title on them, and it's like when they get there, they win the title so quick, and then what do they have else to prove while they're there? So I think maybe instead of putting the title on Purrazzo right away, maybe they could hold off a bit, extend this feud, and then eventually one day Deonna Purrazzo could become women's champion. Definitely deserves it. Great wrestler, had a great run as Knockouts champion in TNA Impact Wrestling at the time. The main event of Collision sees the AEW International Championship on the line, freshly squeezed. Orange Cassidy taking on a teammate of his, actually, because they're both a part of the Chaos faction in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Tomohiro Ishii. We have seen Ishii several times here in AEW now. Really good match. I enjoyed this one. I know I probably sound like a broken record, but all of these title defenses that they have Orange Cassidy do are usually, most of the time, really good matches. And this was no different. And that's the only bad thing about having Orange Cassidy scheduled already for Revolution to defend the title against Roderick Strong is you don't really expect him to lose the title now when he does defend it, because you really don't expect him to lose the title this quickly before Revolution. And I'm sure him and Roderick Strong will have a fine match at the pay-per-view. And that was last night's AEW Saturday Collision. I thought it was a pretty good show. Had some good wrestling on it, as usual. And speaking of New Japan Pro Wrestling, sometime today I will hope to have a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic talking about this morning's New Beginning in Osaka show. So stay tuned. Like I always say, the best way to keep up is to follow on X at 360 Wrestling Podcast, because right when there's a new episode right here on Spreaker, it is posted right away on X at 360 Wrestling Pod. Follow, please, if you want. And also in the comment section, you can leave your thoughts and your opinions and your feedback on last night's Collision and the New Beginning in Osaka as well. And that is all for this Sunday morning episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Thank you everyone for tuning in and listening this morning, downloading the episode. And hope everyone, if you're watching that silly football game, I hope you enjoy that, but hope everyone enjoys the Puppy Bowl as well tonight. And we'll be back tomorrow for the Monday morning episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. But until then, have a great pro wrestling day.